if we're eating off of Teflon-coated pans, write that down, change to stainless steel. That's heavy metals when you cook on nonstick cookware. Our cell membranes respond and they become hard. And so all of the good nutrients can't get out, and guess what happens? All the toxins that are already in there, they can't get in. All the toxins that are already in there can't get out. And so we get sick. That's what malnutrition is. Good news is we know how to fix that. So toxicity and malnutrition. So with toxicity, it can be everything from external to internal to what I care a lot about and what I teach in my division at Heights of Health, and that's emotional toxicity. Remember that trauma? It didn't just go away just because my hippocampus can't remember it. Where is it? It's stored in ourselves. It's stored in our body. How many of you have ever heard that we store most of our anger in our liver? And that we store grief in our lungs? And we store fear in our kidneys. So notice that. How many of you, just notice that. Notice yourself. Like, gosh, every time I get sick, I get bronchitis. It goes straight to my lungs. Ask yourself if you have some unresolved grief that you just need to release at a cellular level. Our bodies tell us. Our bodies are amazing mechanisms, and they have an innate ability to heal. We just need to empower them to do what they know to do. So the source of our stress could also be our food. Gosh, we know so much about this today, don't we? We're getting so smart about nutrition and health. I bring this up just to show you, just to encourage you to eat as healthy as you can. When we eat stressed out food, you know what happens to our bodies? We assimilate those stress molecules. What's stressed out food?
Processed.
Yeah. I mean, even the plants that are being exposed to herbicides and pesticides. And so our body responds to that. We communicate with our food, with what we ingest into our body. And there's a fancy term down there, don't ask me to pronounce it, that says that stress molecules make you sick. This is the molecules from what you're eating. So remember I said this, and this is a mantra that we say at my clinic, Heights of Health, all the time because we believe it's true, that your body has an innate ability to heal. I had this conversation with my 7-year-old just this morning. She's like, Mommy, why don't the bobo on my finger get better? I said, was it better than it was last week? I said, it was because it's a bad bobo. Some bobos heal really quick, but your body knows what to do, and your body knows how to heal itself, so just let it continue to do its work. The scary part is that stress turns off this ability to heal. Stress turns off your digestive system. It turns off your immune system. We know it turns off our memories. It makes us dumb. Can't remember anything. And it takes us into fight or flight. Now, you've heard of this, right? We know fight or flight. Let me give you very quickly the anatomy of fight or flight. Fight or flight is something that triggers the primitive, some people call it the reptilian part of our brain. And it tells us that when we experience a stressful event, that there's a saber-toothed tiger that's about to eat us and kill us. Fight or flight is supposed to last for about 2 minutes, because you have about 2 minutes to either get away from the proverbial saber-toothed tiger or get eaten. One of those is going to happen, right? Fight or flight. Or maybe you kill it. I guess there's a third option in the fight. Maybe you win physically. But what's happening today is that all of those saber-toothed tigers in our lives are keeping us in a constant state of fight or flight. Now, fight or flight, remember I mentioned this is a good thing, because fight or flight takes all of that blood out of our new brain. The new brain is your prefrontal cortex. It's where we do executive functioning. It's where we problem solve. It's where we regulate our emotions. It's where we can come up with good solutions. It's where we can learn new things. That's the prefrontal cortex. It takes all of the blood out of that and it puts it into your larger limbs. It puts it into what you need to survive for 2 minutes. So what's happening when we're constantly stressed? Longer than 2 minutes. We're having a hard time getting into our problem solving, our thinking, our emotional regulation, regulating our emotions, brain. So stress hormones are being released. We mentioned this already. mentioned the hippocampus, get memory cells being affected negatively. And then adrenaline, this is a good thing, it goes to our muscles and limbs. Any of you have ever read the reports about the superhuman mommy powers? You know, like their kid's about to be attacked by a dog and suddenly this mom like is able to rip limbs off the dog, you know, and take cars off their kid, you know, stop a train. You know, like this. This is the adrenaline that does superhuman things, and it's supposed to last for. Your heart rate accelerates. Your immune system is suppressed. And look at this, your digestion stops. Not a bad thing if it's 2 minutes. You know, I'm a cave guy. I just ate some berries over there on that bush, and oh my gosh, here comes the saber-toothed tiger. I don't need to have to digest things for 2 minutes. We'll deal with you, Barry, after I deal with this tiger. But what happens when I'm chronically stressed more than 2 minutes? We get gastrointestinal difficulties. Our enzymes are affected and we can't assimilate our full food. Remember malnutrition? That's where this comes from. Ultimately, our cells shut down. Remember I talked about how the toxins can't get out and the good stuff can't get in. So we got to change that. And how do we change it? Do we change what's happening to us out there? No, we can't affect that. What do we change? What happens in us? Our stress response. So here's another quick one for you. There's a thing called, I hope you haven't heard of this one, telomeres. You've heard of it. Your she's going to help me, please, with our pronunciation. So those are the little things, it's like a shoelace. If you think about our chromosomes, and those are the little things that are, you know the little plastic ends on shoelaces? They're on the end of our chromosomes. And research is showing us that the chemical that keeps those healthy, the telomeres, the telomerase enzyme that keeps those healthy actually is diminished. So thereby, those are shortening. And it is our first scientific evidence, and this is brand new research, that is showing that stress that is causing the ends of our chromosomes to shrink is directly related to aging. Uh-oh, wrinkles. So, you know, you think about, you know, a good incentive for not wanting to be stressed is that, you know, it contributes directly to those signs of aging also. We knew that intuitively, right? Yes. Now we've got a really fancy piece of research that proves that. So look at this, percentage of people with chronic pain. And just look how directly it's correlated with the amount of stress that they are perceiving they have. So what I want to show you, the good news, we're going to switch gears here. Now we're going to get our vibration back up, right? I kind of was a little bit negative at the beginning, so we're all kind of feeling a little depressed. We're going to get it back up. We know that we can affect all of this. We know that if we eat good foods and we take our good supplements, that we can directly affect our physicality, our physiology, our body. We know that if we can think, I can catch that baseball, that it might just happen if we can reframe our thinking. And we also know that there are ways, proven scientific techniques to help us get to those destructive cellular memories and those traumas. They're forcing us to do the same thing over and over. You know that? We live 80% of our life, some scientists say 90, out of our subconscious. And so that's why we oftentimes keep doing the same patterns over and over and over. We need to get to our subconscious. We need to get to that deep inner part of ourselves, of our minds, and tell it, this no longer serves us. We're changing, game plan change. And there's ways that we can do that. Prayer is one of them. Meditation has a ton of research around it. If you're a prayerful person, a lot of times when you pray, your body is doing the same thing as a Zen monk that's meditating. You're going into a place that's actually healing your spirit and releasing a lot of destructive memories. So we need vitamins for the mind, the body, and the spirit, and the soul. That mind-body-spirit connection is undoubtedly real. And so if we can hit ourselves kind of like a trifecta, if we can hit ourselves from all three angles, we are going to be healthier, happier people. So we've got to not just take our supplements and not just go to the gym and work out, but we've got to go to the Serenity Garden and practice the 2 techniques I'm about to teach you every day. And they're going to become something that you want to do every day. And they're so easy and quick. Nothing I'm going to show you takes longer than about 2 minutes. You got 2 minutes? Yeah. I did it on the way over here in the car because I wanted to be as peaceful and joyful and happy and get my energy up as much as I could for you guys so that you could hear my message. Remember what stress is? It doesn't happen to us, it happens in us. And it's not about managing stress, it's about managing our stress, say it with me, reactions. And we can learn tools to do that. And here are some of the tools that I teach back at my clinic. The one that I'm going to teach you today is breathing. Oh, great. She's going to teach us how to breathe. Oh, wait. I'm going to teach you some really fancy dancy ways to breathe that are life transforming. Heard of any of these? Some of them are kind of words that a lot of us haven't heard. But they're all very real and they all have science behind them and being able to transform your mind, body, and spirit. So let's look at breathing. So there's a study that was done on breathing that says that just by doing mindfulness-based kinds of breathing, that we can improve our perceived stress levels. Remember I told you about my husband and how we can be in the same room, experiencing the same thing, and he makes it into a joke and turns it into humor, and I'm like about to have a nervous breakdown? That's perception. Okay, that's here. What's he doing? He's changing what he thinks about what's happening. And he's turning it into humor. He's probably smiling too, because he's good that way. And me, I'm telling myself, oh my God, here it comes again. Oh my God, this is going to be terrible. This guy's going to fall. And so I've had to really work hard to teach myself to catch myself doing that and change my perception of the reality. It improves quality of sleep. It improves the heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is the gold standard measure of stress. So if I do this in my clinic. I have a heart rate variability. I have a piece of technology called the M-Wave, where we actually, it's like a biofeedback, where we actually measure physiologically where's your stress level, and we can look at a graph. And then I teach you exercises while you're still hooked up. It's just a little thing on your ear. While you're still hooked up, it's just measuring your heart rate variability. We do some of these exercises, the two of them which I'm going to teach you right now, and you can actually watch the power you have over your heart. And you can watch your heart rate variability change into what's called coherence. So that's just through breathing. There's another study that says that by doing these kinds of exercises, namely breathing, that you can it's actually healthier for your body than 30 minutes on a treadmill. Woo! Good news, guys. 2 minutes of breathing versus 30 minutes in the gym. I like it. I'll take it. All right, reprogramming with the power of breath. You've heard of your nervous system. There's two parts of your autonomic nervous system. You have the sympathetic and you have the parasympathetic. The parasympathetic is what tells our heart to beat, and we don't have to tell it even when we're asleep. Our heart keeps doing that. Isn't that great? And tells our lungs to take in air. It's the parasympathetic, the automatic things. The sympathetic nervous system is the one that's going to actually deal with those stress responses. It's the one that actually puts the brakes on. Okay, parasympathetic, or puts the gas pedal on. The parasympathetic puts the brake pedal on. We want those balanced. Okay, if we're living with our sympathetic nervous system in overdrive, we're living in a physiologically stressed state. So, one of the things that I want to say about this is that when we do deep belly breathing, a lot of people don't talk about why that is effective. You've heard deep belly breathing is good for you, right? We've heard this. Why? Well, there is the most powerful nerve in your body. I think it's the longest nerve. It's called the vagus nerve. And the vagus nerve is connected to your diaphragm all the way up to your brainstem. So what happens to our sympathetic nervous system, our vagus nerve, when we do a deep belly breath? That nerve says, oh, okay, I'll go tell the brain we're relaxed. And it goes up, and the message comes up to our brainstem and says, okay, cool, it's not a saber-toothed tiger. It's cool, we can handle this. Tells our brain. And so there's a direct communication between the exercise of breathing deeply in your belly through the vagus nerve to your brain to say, this is an emergency. We can handle this. Wake up, prefrontal cortex. We can problem solve. This is okay. We got this one. We know these tools. So here's the first exercise. Are you ready? You've got one solution already. What's the first solution you have?
Reframe.
Reframe. Good job. Reframe Awareness is the biggest key to all of this work. Catch yourself thinking that negative thought and 3 to 5 times say the opposite of it while you smile. Okay, second solution is a 4-7-8 breath exercise. Now, this is, I honestly don't know who invented this, but Dr. Andrew Weil, have you heard of him? He's the guy with the big white beard. Great, very well respected MD. And he's a huge proponent of this. He might have invented it, I don't know. 4-7-8. The idea is that we take in air through our nose. When I work with children, I tell them, smell a flower. And we exhale through our mouth. Blow out the candle. Okay, that is the most effective way to breathe. Anyone ever been to yoga? It's a yogi breath. So we breathe in through our nose, we smell a flower, and we release through our mouth, we blow out the candle. And I'm going to challenge you, and we're going to do this in here together, we're going to make everyone close their eyes so you don't need to feel embarrassed. I'm going to challenge you that when you do your out breath, your exhale, that you actually make the noise you would make when you're blowing out a candle. I mean, really, really do this. You know, really hear it, feel it. Make that breath come, expel from your body. Just like you're blowing out, you know, all 21 of those candles from your last birthday. Okay, the next piece of the 4-7-8 breath is that there's a ratio. We inhale to a count of 4. We hold our breath for a count of 7. And we exhale to a count of 8. Anyone want to give a guess why the ratio is double on the exhale? Yeah. Our lungs are one of our greatest detox organs. You know, we think about our kidneys and our liver being good detox organs. Our skin is a good detox organ. Our lungs are a great filtration system that we have. We do live in Houston, guys, and so the air we're breathing isn't like optimal. So by exhaling, and especially if we're doing this to release stress, and remember stress is stored where? In our cells, that we're actually giving our body an opportunity to filtrate toxicity. Remember, toxicity is threefold. It can be internal, it can be external, it can be emotional. All right, so the ratio, it does not matter if you, at first, this is hard for you to hold your breath for 7 or to exhale. At first for me, when I started this exercise, exhaling for 8 seconds was kind of hard. I was like, is it over? Oh my God, 8 seconds seems so long. So you can go faster. The point is that you keep the ratio, the cadence, the same. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2. Okay? If it's hard for you, then it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But the ratio stays about the same. The last piece to the 4-7-8 breath is that the tongue goes up behind your front teeth. We're kind of touching that, the end of that little ridgy part of your palate there. I'm sure it has a technical name. What is it? Anyone want to give a guess why? I'll put my tongue over that. Remember, we're energy. We are a flow system in our body, okay? And we flow chemically. We have a flow electrically. We have a flow magnetically, electromagnetically. And so by putting your tongue up, there's a circuit that you're closing. There is what's called a meridian that goes up the front of your body, and it's called the central meridian. And there's special technology now that actually can see the lighting up of meridians now. There is a second meridian that goes from your sacrum up to over the top of your head that meets the central meridian. That is an energy flow within your body. It goes around and around from the central to the governing meridian. By putting your tongue up behind your teeth, you're closing an energy circuit. You're keeping all of that wonderful energy inside you as you do this work. Does that make sense? So tongue up behind your teeth. So I'm going to demonstrate for you guys right here on camera how to do this. The last piece that I like to talk about is that in order to activate your vagus nerve and really have an effective belly breath, you want to make in essence, your stomach fat. Okay, you want to really try to not breathe from the lungs, but breathe from the belly. Now, why is this? I had a slide about this. What happens when we breathe from our lungs and we breathe really fast? What are we telling our brain? I'm stressed. That's called stress breathing. And so that's why, even if we're not exercising really hard, if we're stressed, you'll find that you do lung breathing. and it's rapid lung breathing. It's a smart thing that your body does to tell your brain, okay, go into fight or flight. Come on, deploy, deploy, deploy. And you go into fight or flight, and cortisol goes, the campus cells are dying, and all the adrenaline, and we're ready to fight. We get stupid, our prefrontal cortex starts to shrink. So we want to get out of lung breathing. We want to give our brain the message that we're good, we're safe, we're not stressed. And so there's two things about doing this kind of breathing. One, crisis intervention. Remember I talked about I went to the bathroom when we were all kind of like thinking, oh gosh, we can't get the microphone to work. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go over there and I popped out a 478 in the bathroom. Okay, so that's crisis intervention. You can do it at any time, anywhere. It doesn't cost you money, doesn't take a lot of time. It also has a cumulative effect. Dr. Andrew Weil talks about how this actually will reprogram your neural pathways in your brain. It will actually strengthen your parasympathetic nervous system. It'll strengthen your prefrontal cortex, and it'll help shrink that amygdala. Anything else I haven't said? The big belly. So when you're thinking about, in through the nose, smell the flower, out through the mouth, blow out the candle. Another kind of analogy, if you will, would be that you want to think about in summertime, it's like we feel like we got to lose that 5 pounds. And in the wintertime, we're kind of like, I'll be wearing my big sweaters. It doesn't matter so much. And so we kind of let our bodies put on a little bit of that 5 pounds. So you want to think about wintertime belly, and summertime belly. So when you're inhaling, you really want to be able to let that tummy get pretend like you got that big sweater on. You let that tummy get big. And then when you're exhaling, you really want to try to get the diaphragm, the tummy, the air out. And so the tummy gets a little bit flatter. All right, so here's how it goes. Just watch me. I'm going to do just 1 or 2. My tongue is up. I'll turn it up quick. My tongue is up. I always close my eyes when I do de-stressing work. It helps you get centered. It helps you just not focus on things outside you. But remember where stress happens? Inside us. So close your eyes, but not yet. Watch me. Tongue up. I put my hand here because I want to make sure I'm doing my wintertime, summertime belly well. Tongue up, and I'm going to count to 4. Just watch me. I'm not going to count out loud, so we'll be too busy breathing. But I'm going to count inside my head. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Usually, what I advise clients that I work with is to only do 4 at a time for the first month. Because even just doing 2 of those, I've felt myself. But also you can find that you might get dizzy because we're not used to breathing this way. We're not used to effectively allowing oxygen to go all the way from here, then up to here, to tell our brains good things. Okay, so we're going to do it together. No one's going to look at you, including me. We're going to close our eyes. So I want to hear you blowing out your candle. I'm going to count out loud for you so that you can really concentrate on the effectiveness of your breath. This is a habit, just like it's a muscle memory. So you'll get better at it the more you do this. So close your eyes, get inward. We're going to de-stress. We know that there's research around that this will be effective just by doing it 1 time. If you feel like it, put your hand on your belly. If you don't need to. Take your tongue, put it up behind your front teeth. And just follow my instructions. We're going to start with in through the nose. Ready? In, 2, 3, 4. Out, 2. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, And take a snapshot of how you feel right now. And tell your heart and your mind that you can go here whenever you want. You can own this feeling. And now what I want you to do is, with your head down, don't look up at me, just quietly and gently open your eyes and look down. And do a body check. See if your body actually feels more relaxed. And if you don't feel it this first time, I promise you, research doesn't lie. Over time, you will. You will be able to do a 4-7-8 breath and switch the way that you're thinking, the way that you're feeling, and then what happens after that? The way you react, the way you behave. Okay? And know that the power is in your diaphragm and your vagus nerve telling your brain that it's happening. You're doing really, really, really important physiological work when you just do a 4-7-8 breath. Questions about